Okay, so another video out here for you, and I guess what I'm going to do is I have a story, and the story happened to me the other day, and I was thinking about folks like you, maybe my listening audience. Here comes my cat, by the way. Where is it? Okay, well, anyways, that's Squeaky. So the a lady came in. I hired her at a certain amount of money. Let's just, for the sake of it, of conversation, and to for Biden's inflation, let's say it was $50 an hour. That wasn't the case, but I don't really want to get into the numbers as much as. And so a girl came to me, and by the way, I have a business that I run, has about 100 plus employees, and so this person came to me, and we had fired a lady. She was older, and maybe one of the reasons, well, maybe definitely one of the reasons that we fired her, because she couldn't deal with teenagers, and a lot of our business is teenagers, right? And so really she couldn't deal with them. She thought everything they said was disrespectful, which it really wasn't, and so she had a hard time, and it was constant. So to alleviate basically the bulk of my staff's problems. Lady was a nice lady overall, but anyways. So when I terminated her, I overheard her speaking rudely. I had to terminate her on the phone. I wanted to give her as much time as possible to find another job. So I called her rather than waiting the next week. So anyways, the lady, I was confirmed in firing her because over the phone she was at a fast food restaurant treating people badly. And I thought, okay, this is totally right. So anyways, a couple weeks later, a lady who I've worked with for a long time, she's not really old per se. She's not really young. She's like less than middle age, let's call it that. Let's just say she's between 25 and 35, okay? She's been working with us for a long time, and I've known her for a long time. She came to me and said that she was speaking to this lady, and that the lady was. She said, "So you're no longer with us?" And then she said, "Yeah, he fired me, but that's all right. I was only making so and so, and I think I said 50 in the video, but whatever, my short-term memory." So I said that. She said that, and then that's only 50 cents higher than this other lady's been with me for a while. So I responded to the lady. I said, look, the reason we terminated her is because she was in her first 90 days. And we hired her at a higher rate because she said she was going to be a manager and was going to work, she was going to close the restaurant that we were at. And she really wasn't working out. So that's why we terminated her, because we're not going to pay a higher price for someone who's causing issues. And anybody we pay a higher price to, we're going to keep a short leash on at the beginning, because we want to make sure we made a right decision. It's not bad to make a hiring mistake, right? It's bad to make a firing mistake. What that means is you shouldn't, for their benefit and yours, you shouldn't keep somebody around longer, just for your selfish interests or for theirs. It needs to be a win-win. And so you need to give people the opportunity to move on to their next opportunity so they can spend a longer time there. Anyways, so the person that I spoke to was angry that this other person had gotten more money. So how are you, this is where I get to, and then we'll answer the questions and stuff, but how are you as a young adult going to command more money where you work from your employer, and how do you get to that point where you get more money? And how can you grow not to resent people who come in after you making more money than you? And I would simply say this: don't get into the comparison game. Now, yeah, certainly we have to compare to a certain degree. I get it. And you probably are like, what's going on? No, I don't buy it. But let me say this. If you are hired when you're 14 at some place, or 15 or 16 or 18, or 20 for that matter, and you come in and you make a certain amount of money, well, you're making a certain amount of money because you don't have a relationship with that employer, and they don't know what's going to go on with you. They only go off of what you say that you have in your history, because here's a principle: your history is the best determiner of your future in other people's eyes. How does that work? Well, what are my habits and what do I do on a consistent basis? I'm probably going to continue to do that. Okay? If you're a hard worker, if you're a smart worker, if you're a funny person, you're going to continue to do that. You can only hide so much in a job interview that you can't hide in the 90 days following the job interview if you get hired. So, here we are. And this lady's angry, and I feel for her because emotionally I understand where she's coming from. I do value her. I've known her for a while. I feel bad because I've been telling her for years that, you need to take stock in your future, and we don't want to see you just be the routine. But if you want routine and you want to come in here on your set schedule and just continue going through the motions, and she has good reasons to do that, and we all have our reasons to do what we want to. But at the same time, I've always wanted to see her make more money. I've always wanted to see her, even if it's not with us, be better off. Okay. And I think that's just the right human thing to do, right? So, she's not really happy right now. So what do you do? What do you do when you're in that certain circumstance? Well, first of all, you have to always invest in yourself. Hear me. You always have to invest in yourself. And you always have to ask the question, and I constantly am asking this question of myself: am I offering more value to my employer so that when the next time I talk about money with him, that he will see the extra value that I'm producing, so that I can get more money because inflation happens? I started making money, what was it, $3.25 or $3.85 was minimum wage when I started working when I was a kid. And now it's, Florida passed a law for $15 at a certain point. I think we're right now at 11, and at the end of September we'll be at $12 minimum wage, and it'll be moving up every year to 15. Well, that we'll talk about that later. But anyways, so you have to invest in yourself. So continually invest in yourself. Why? Because you know what? Okay, there'll get to be a point where you out invest in yourself out of your job, that you grow out of your job. That's a good thing. You want to do that because you want to either grow upward in the company or outward. Those are the only ways of growth. So you're going to grow upward, and if there's no more upward, then you got to go out. And then that's what you want to do for your life. You want to grow, and you want to keep growing, not in a belligerent way, but and not in a resentful way. And here's the thing: I would say when you get a job, don't resent your employer. There might be good reasons for some employers, and trust me, I've had some doozies. But that's you. You're going to hurt yourself internally thinking about that. So my suggestion to you is, don't resent your employers for how much they pay you. Because every day that you stay there, you're saying that's how much I'm worth. And if that's all you're worth, and you're not raising your worth so that he can be commensurate with your worth in how much he pays you, then he's not recognizing that, and you need to move on, or he or she, I should say. Then you need to move on, and that's your sign that you need to move on from that employer. However, if the more you invest in yourself, the more you have a skill set to sell. Some people go into a job selling their time for money. Some people sell themselves and sell their soul for money, and they do illicit things. OnlyFans. But, you can't do that because you lose respect. And you lose respect for yourself. So you want to continue growing and going and moving upward. So here's what I would say to my friend. Why are you comparing yourself to another person? They're not you and you're not them. When they came in, and here's what I would say. When that person came in and then they sold me a skill set, and I put a value on that, and they put a value on that, and we negotiated and we came to an agreement. That agreement was between me and that person. That was an agreement between me and that person saying that not valuable. But, okay, you find out somebody else at work is making more than you, and you think that you do more work than them. Well, one thing should be true. You should be more valuable. So then you say, look, I'd like to renegotiate what I make. Okay. Here's what I want to make. Say this. I want to make so and so many dollars per hour, so many dollars a year, so many benefits, paid time off, whatever it is. I want to have Doritos in the break room. Whatever it is, you say to your employer, instead of this, so-and-so's making more than me, and I want to make that. Do you realize how low you're selling yourself even in that conversation? Somebody's making $50 an hour, and I don't pay anybody $50 an hour, but I'm just saying. So somebody's making $50 an hour, you're making 45. You don't say to your boss, they're making 50, I should make 50. You should say, I should make 100. Because why are you selling yourself short? That's why you shouldn't compare yourself to somebody else. Because then your lid is them. The height at which you can go is going to be how much money they make. So you're going to be constantly chasing another person and keeping up with the Joneses, is like they said when I was a kid. So here's what you do. You say to your boss, look, I'm really not happy with what I'm making. Because that's the truth, right? Whether it's comparison or whatever, you want to make more. Maybe you need to make more because the price of milk has gone up. Thanks, Biden. The price of gas has gone up. Thanks, Biden. Okay, getting political. I'll shut up. Whatever the reason is, you say, okay, boss, here's what I'd like. I'm really not happy with what I'm making. I really think I should be making more. So I would like to make this amount of money by such and such date. Do you have a pathway in which you can help me make that money? And then they'll say this. And here's the thing. You have a history with them, hopefully. And there's a loyalty. And employers, most employers that are smart, the stupidity ones, just, they're stupid. Move on. Don't even have that conversation. Just move on. But the ones that you've been loyal to, they'll see that, and you need to bring that up. I've been loyal to you. I stayed the whole COVID time when everybody was sitting at home playing tiddlywinks. I was staying. Say that. And say, but I'm not happy with making what I'm making. What can I do to do that? And you know what will happen? You'll be told, you have to do this, this, and this. And if they have no plan for you, say, look, I'll give you a week, and then I want to have this conversation again because I really want to make more money. And if they really value you, they're going to value you and make some kind of a proposal to you. And they're going to say, look, if you're to make this money, then what I need in the business is such and such. Now, I'll give you another example, and then I'll sign off. Let's say I own a hot dog cart. How much money would you, as a hot dog cart owner, put in to an employee that's just putting a hot dog on a bun and some mustard and some ketchup and handing it to a customer? How much money is that worth? Is it worth you to give that person a raise every year? No, because that's an entry-level kind of a job, right? So I don't care if you have a master's degree. I don't care if you have a PhD. It doesn't take a PhD to put a hot dog on a bun. So that job is only worth a certain amount. That job is. It's not you. That job is. So don't get mad if you're in a job that has a lid to the amount of money. So what are you going to do to make more money? Well, you got to move yourself upward, right? So, okay, boss of a hot dog cart, I want to make more money, and I know that you can only pay a certain amount of money for a person who's putting a hot dog on a bun. Is there any way in this business that I can make more money? Well, I'll tell you what, I've been looking to retire. I've been looking to expand. Why don't we buy 8 more hot dog carts and you manage them? And I'll pay you this much money to manage them. And then we'll send them out and we'll find locations and then you'll have more responsibility. Now that job demands more money because there's more experience, there's more responsibility, there's more risk. Okay? So that's a conversation you can have. But you can't expect in your current position to demand more money if you're not going to give more value. Now, that's not to say that you're not valuable. That's to say that the job has a lid, and maybe you have stayed in a lower echelon job too long. That's hard to take sometimes. And maybe that is your lid. And that's not bad. That is just is what it is. There are people that are garbage men making actually pretty good money that are fine with that because there's a routine to it, and then that's not their life. Okay? Then there's people who spend their whole day from 5 a.m. to 11 at night every day, 7 days a week, doing the same thing, and they say, I've never worked a day in my life because, work is fun for me. Good for them. Okay? I don't agree with that, Trump, but guess what? That is what they do. And that's fine. But it's your choice. So don't get mad at your employer, but put yourself in your employer's position and say, why should he give me more money? Ask those questions. Ask different questions, but don't get mad and resentful over not getting paid the same as somebody else. And all this, this is another story. But equal pay for the equal job. That's all BS. Why? Because you're not the same person as the other person. And the job is never done the same way. I get it. A woman wants same pay if she's an engineer as a man engineer. Okay, good. But now I heard this and I thought this very interesting. A men's soccer team commands more money, billions, compared to women's soccer. But the women's soccer are paid more proportionally compared to the revenue than men. So it's however you look at it, okay? Equal pay, whatever. You don't want equal pay, and I can tell you why, because you always want to make more than the next person. Every one of us does. So don't tell me about equal pay, right? You can, we can all talk about that, and that's all great in theory. But in reality, you want to make more money. And you really don't care at the end of the day what makes more money, because what people make doesn't affect your life. What you make affects your life. So make more money, but do so in a way that's thoughtful and invest in yourself. Don't let 10, 20 years go by and you haven't invested in yourself. I told my son this the other day. I said, look, right now you're thinking about your profession. Guess what? So many people change profession. And when I was that age, I never thought I'd change my profession. I changed it 3 times. And I'm in my early 50s. It's going to change again, I bet you. I'm not trying to. I want to own my own business. Hopefully that happens very soon. And that would be the change. That would be hopefully my last change. But guess what? You got to spend your young years investing in yourself. Get an education. In another video, I'll be talking about college or no college. But look, college, if you choose to go, you're investing in yourself in an education. If you don't go to school, get an education. Education doesn't mean a piece of paper or having a whole bunch of people teach you. You can learn your own way and learn about the things you want to learn. Okay? Spend your time investing in your own education and in your brain and thinking and trying to do better and become more valuable and do what you want to do. Okay? And then sometimes, if you don't invest in yourself in that way, then it's going to cause you to do what somebody else wants to do. And you don't want to be living somebody else's dreams and funding their own vacations and while you sit and work for them. You don't want to do that. You want to move upward and onward, okay? So, hey, I'm glad you liked the video. Hopefully, I guess there's an algorithm. I'm not the wisest man in YouTube world, but there's an algorithm. So please hit like, please hit subscribe, and then tell your friends about it. That's more important to me than anything. Tell your friends about it if this has helped you. And if it helps you, then just let me know it helped you, just so I know. And if you say, hey, I think you're an idiot, tell me I'm an idiot. I don't care. I got a thick skin. So hopefully you develop a thick skin too. And so keep it real, don't steal, my brothers.